we are not alone. Look up at the night sky. Between the stars you can see, there are billions more you cannot. Each one a possibility, each one a chance. The universe stretches beyond comprehension, and yet you are here right now, wondering if something out there is wondering about you. 4 billion years ago, Earth was a violent infant, molten rock, toxic atmosphere, relentless bombardment from space. And then, in a moment we still cannot fully explain, the first spark of life appeared, a single cell, a whisper of consciousness in the cosmic void. But what if that whisper was an echo? What if life didn't begin here at all, but arrived on the back of a comet, carrying the seeds of something far older than our world? Scientists call it panspermia, the idea that life migrates between worlds, hitchhiking on asteroids and meteorites. We've found amino acids in space dust, organic molecules in distant nebulae. The building blocks of life are everywhere, scattered across the galaxy like breadcrumbs leading back to an origin we cannot see. Every atom in your body was forged in the heart of a dying star. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are the cosmos becoming aware of itself. But here's where the story gets strange. For 3 billion years, life on Earth remained simple. Bacteria, algae, nothing more. Then suddenly, in what biologists call the Cambrian explosion, complex life burst forth in a riot of forms. Eyes appeared, nervous systems, consciousness itself. In evolutionary terms, it happened in the blink of an eye. Too fast, some say, too coordinated, as if someone somewhere had flipped a switch. Ancient texts speak of visitors from the heavens, beings of light and power who taught early humans agriculture, mathematics, astronomy. The Sumerians wrote of the Anunnaki. The Vedas described the Vimanas, flying machines that crossed the sky. Were these myths, metaphors, or memories passed down through generations of something that actually happened? What if our ancestors weren't primitive storytellers, but witnesses? Consider the human brain, 3 pounds of matter that contains more neural connections than there are stars in the Milky Way. We build cathedrals and particle accelerators. We write symphonies and split atoms. We dream of distant worlds and then build rockets to reach them. This capacity, this relentless drive to explore and create and understand, where did it come from? Evolution, yes. But evolution is patient, gradual. Intelligence this profound, this unique among all species on Earth. Perhaps it had help. Perhaps we carry within us a gift from beyond the stars. There's a concept in physics called quantum entanglement. 2 particles separated by vast distances, remaining connected in ways that transcend space and time. When one changes, the other responds instantly, as if they share a single consciousness. What if life itself is entangled? What if every living thing, from the smallest microbe to the most advanced civilization, is part of a cosmic network, a universal mind reaching across the void? What if we've never been alone because we've always been connected? Tonight, somewhere in the universe, perhaps on a world circling a star you cannot name, another being looks up at their sky. They wonder as you wonder. They search as you search. They ask the same questions that have echoed through human history. Are we alone? Where did we come from? What is our purpose? And in that moment of shared curiosity, across the infinite darkness, you are not separate. You are family, because the story of life is not the story of Earth. It's the story of the cosmos itself, unfolding in 1 billion different ways, all reaching toward the same light. Walk through any museum of ancient history and you'll find them. Artifacts that shouldn't exist. The Antikythera mechanism, a 2,000-year-old analog computer of stunning complexity. The Baghdad battery, suggesting electrical knowledge millennia before Franklin's kite. Perfectly drilled holes in granite blocks that would challenge modern tools. Precision stonework at Pumapunku that requires techniques we're only now rediscovering. These aren't anomalies, they're evidence. Evidence of something our textbooks haven't yet learned to read. The Great Pyramid of Giza aligns with true north to within a fraction of a degree, a feat that requires precise astronomical knowledge. The Nazca lines, massive geoglyphs carved into the Peruvian desert, only make sense when viewed from the air. Ancient Mayan calendars tracked celestial cycles with accuracy that rivals modern computers. How did they know? How did civilizations separated by oceans share similar architectural techniques, similar myths, similar gods descending from the sky? Unless they were all visited by the same teachers. DNA, the code of life, is written in a language more elegant than any human script. 4 simple letters arranged in 3 billion letter sequences containing the instructions for everything you are. But here's what keeps scientists awake at night. Our DNA contains vast stretches of supposedly junk sequences, remnants of ancient viruses and evolutionary dead ends. Or so we thought. Recent research suggests some of this junk might be dormant code, waiting for the right trigger. What if it's not leftover debris? What if it's a message embedded in every cell of your body, written by architects we've yet to meet? In 1977, astronomers detected a radio signal from space so powerful, so precisely structured, that one researcher simply wrote "wow" on the printout. It lasted 72 seconds and never repeated. We've been listening ever since. Massive radio telescopes pointed at the stars, searching for patterns in the cosmic static. But perhaps we're looking for the wrong thing. Perhaps advanced civilizations don't use radio waves anymore. Perhaps they communicate through quantum channels or gravitational waves, or methods our science hasn't even imagined yet. Perhaps they've been calling and we simply haven't learned their language. Think about the Fermi paradox, the haunting question that keeps physicists up at night. If the universe is so vast, so old, so filled with potentially habitable worlds, where is everyone? Why haven't we found definitive proof of extraterrestrial intelligence? Maybe the answer isn't absence, maybe it's timing. Civilizations rise and fall. Stars are born and die. The universe is 13.8 billion years old. Perhaps we're just the newest students in a school that's been running since before our sun existed. Perhaps others graduated long ago, ascended to something beyond our comprehension, leaving only breadcrumbs for those who come after. Consciousness itself remains science's greatest mystery. We can map every neuron, trace every chemical pathway, but we still cannot explain why you experience the color red, why music moves you, why you feel love or wonder or awe. Some scientists propose consciousness isn't produced by the brain, it's received by it, like a radio tuning into a signal that exists independently. If that's true, if consciousness is fundamental to the universe itself, then perhaps Earth wasn't where awareness began. Perhaps we're nodes in a vast network, our minds connected to something far older and far greater than ourselves. Every human culture, across all of history, has looked up at the stars and told stories. The Polynesians navigated thousands of miles of open ocean, using only stellar patterns. The Dogon people of Mali described the invisible companion star of Sirius, Sirius B, centuries before telescopes could detect it. Aboriginal Australians speak of the Seven Sisters, whose story matches the astronomical reality of the Pleiades with uncanny precision. This isn't coincidence. This is memory. Memory of a time when the stars weren't just lights in the sky, but maps, messages, reminders of where we came from and who helped us along the way. Imagine a civilization a million years ahead of us. What would they be capable of? They might engineer stars, fold space-time, exist in dimensions we can't perceive. To them, we would be as ants are to us, simple, struggling, but worthy of care. Perhaps that's what we're experiencing. Not contact in the way we imagine it, not flying saucers and diplomatic envoys, but gentle guidance, a nudge here, an inspiration there, a mathematical insight that arrives in a dream, a sudden technological leap that changes everything. Perhaps they're not staying hidden. Perhaps they're simply teaching us at the pace we can handle, waiting for us to grow wise enough to join them among the stars. Consider the moment of human language. For hundreds of thousands of years, our ancestors communicated through grunts and gestures. Then, roughly 70,000 years ago, something extraordinary happened, the cognitive revolution. Suddenly, humans could think abstractly, create art, tell stories, plan for distant futures. We developed syntax, metaphor, the ability to describe things that don't exist. No other species on Earth made this leap. Anthropologists call it the Great Leap Forward, but they cannot explain what caused it. What spark ignited in the human mind? Or perhaps, what signal did we finally learn to receive? The universe is not silent. It hums with electromagnetic radiation, gravitational waves, cosmic rays streaming through space at nearly the speed of light. Every moment, particles that traveled for billions of years pass through your body, carrying information from the edge of the observable universe. You are constantly bathed in messages from distant galaxies, from supernovae that died before Earth was born. We think of space as empty, but it's full of energy, full of information, full of possibilities we're only beginning to understand. What if some of that information is intentional? What if the cosmos itself is trying to tell us something? There's a phenomenon that mystics have described for millennia, that scientists now study with brain scanners and quantum physics. The experience of oneness, the dissolution of self, the feeling that you are not separate from the universe, but an integral part of it. Astronauts call it the overview effect, looking back at Earth from space and suddenly understanding with visceral clarity that all boundaries are illusions, that every human, every creature, every atom is connected in an intricate web of existence. Ancient shamans reach the same realization through meditation and ritual. Perhaps this isn't a trick of the mind. Perhaps it's the mind remembering what it's always known. We are the universe experiencing itself. Mathematics, the language of the universe, exists independently of human invention. Pi was the same ratio a billion years ago as it is today. The Fibonacci sequence appears in galaxies, hurricanes, flower petals, and nautilus shells. When scientists discover a new equation, they don't create it. They uncover it, like archaeologists brushing away sand from ancient ruins. This suggests something profound, that reality operates on principles that transcend any single observer, principles that would be true whether humans existed or not. If mathematics is universal, then any sufficiently advanced intelligence would discover the same truth we have, which means somewhere, perhaps many somewheres, others are solving the same cosmic equations, arriving at the same elegant answers. In quantum mechanics, there's a principle that troubles even the greatest minds. Observation affects reality. Until a particle is measured, It exists in a state of superposition, simultaneously in all possible states. Only when consciousness observes it does it collapse into a single definite form. This isn't philosophy, it's verified science. Consciousness, your consciousness, plays an active role in shaping the fabric of reality itself. Think about what that means. If awareness shapes existence, then the act of searching for other intelligences, of wondering if we're alone, of reaching out across the void. These aren't passive questions. They're creative acts. We may be calling others into being by the very fact that we seek them. Every major spiritual tradition speaks of a time when heaven and earth were closer, when gods walked among mortals, when the veil between worlds was thin. The Greeks spoke of a golden age. The Hindus described the Satya Yuga. Indigenous peoples across continents tell of first times when beings of great power taught sacred knowledge. Then something changed. The gods departed. The connection faded. Humanity was left alone to grow, to struggle, to evolve. But what if this wasn't abandonment? What if it was graduation? What if those who once guided us directly stepped back because we were ready to walk on our own, watching from a distance, as any parent watches a child take their first independent steps? The Drake equation attempts to estimate the number of active communicative civilizations in the Milky Way galaxy. It considers factors like star formation rates, the fraction of stars with planets, the likelihood of life developing. Depending on the values you choose, the equation suggests anywhere from 0 to millions of civilizations. But there's a factor the equation doesn't include: intention. What if advanced beings deliberately limit their detectability? What if first contact isn't about us finding them, but about them deciding we're ready to be found? Every child must reach a certain level of maturity before being entrusted with adult responsibilities. Perhaps the cosmos operates on the same principle. Look at how far we've come in just a century. From the Wright brothers' first flight to rovers on Mars. From primitive radio to quantum computers. From candles to nuclear fusion. The acceleration of human technology isn't linear, it's exponential. Each breakthrough enables the next, faster and faster, a snowball of innovation rolling down a cosmic hill. But here's the question that keeps physicists up at night. Why now? Why, after millions of years of slow biological evolution, did we suddenly rocket toward the stars? Some say it's natural progression. Others whisper that perhaps we were always meant to reach this point, that this acceleration was built into us from the beginning, a cosmic timer set long ago, waiting for humanity to wake up and remember what we were designed to become. There's a curious phenomenon in nature called convergent evolution, when unrelated species, separated by vast distances and time, independently develop the same solutions to similar problems. Eyes evolved separately in octopuses and humans. Wings emerged independently in insects, birds, bats, and pterosaurs. Flight, vision, echolocation. Nature keeps returning to the same brilliant answers. Now scale that up. If life exists elsewhere in the universe, facing similar challenges, constrained by the same physics, wouldn't it converge toward similar solutions? Wouldn't intelligence, wherever it arises, face the same fundamental questions? Perhaps we're not unique. Perhaps we're inevitable. One expression of a pattern the universe repeats across countless worlds. Dreams have fascinated humanity since the first person woke from sleep and wondered where they'd been. Modern neuroscience can map brain activity during dreams, but cannot explain why we experience them so vividly, why they feel so real, why sometimes they seem to contain knowledge we couldn't possibly possess. Carl Jung spoke of the collective unconscious. a shared reservoir of human experience and archetype. But what if it goes deeper? What if dreams are moments when our minds briefly disconnect from the local self and tap into something universal? A cosmic database of consciousness, accessible to any awareness sophisticated enough to reach for it. Every night, you might be browsing the greatest library in existence and calling it just a dream. Humanity stands at a threshold. We've split the atom and mapped the genome. We've sent machines beyond our solar system and taught silicon to think. We're on the verge of becoming an interplanetary species, of extending life, of merging with our technology in ways that will fundamentally alter what it means to be human. This isn't science fiction. This is the next 50 years. But here's the profound part. Every technological civilization would face this same threshold. The moment when a species must choose what to become. Some might destroy themselves. Others might transcend biology entirely. Perhaps the silence we hear in space isn't absence. It's the sound of civilizations making this choice, evolving into forms we don't yet have the wisdom to recognize. The placebo effect is one of medicine's most documented mysteries. Give someone a sugar pill, tell them it's medicine, and their body responds as if it were real. Pain diminishes, healing accelerates, symptoms improve. This isn't imagination. It's measurable, repeatable, undeniable. The mind, believing in healing, creates healing. This reveals something extraordinary. Consciousness has direct power over physical matter. Your thoughts shape your biology. Now extend that principle. If one mind can influence one body, what could a billion minds, focused together, influence? What could a universe of consciousness, all connected, all aware, accomplish together? Perhaps reality itself is a collaborative creation, and we're all co-authors of existence. Children are born asking questions. Why is the sky blue? Where do stars come from? What happens when we die? We call it curiosity, but it's more than that. It's a fundamental drive to understand, to know, to connect the dots of existence into a coherent picture. No other species does this. Animals learn, adapt, survive, but they don't wonder about the nature of reality itself. Only humans look at a sunset and ask not just what, but why. This impulse to question, to search for meaning beyond survival. Where did it come from? It serves no immediate evolutionary purpose, unless it was given to us for exactly this moment, for the moment when we're advanced enough to find the answers and brave enough to accept them. Look at the night sky on a clear evening. Those stars you see, their light has traveled for years, decades, centuries to reach your eyes. You're not seeing them as they are now, but as they were when that light began its journey. Some of those stars may no longer exist, having died long ago, yet their light still reaches us like messages from ghosts. Now consider this. Somewhere in the universe, light that left Earth millions of years ago is just arriving at distant worlds. Someone, something, might be looking at that ancient light right now, seeing dinosaurs roam, seeing early humans discover fire. Time, distance, and light create a cosmic archive where the past never truly dies. It just travels outward, forever preserved in photons crossing the void. We are all time travelers. We just move through time at different speeds. Every spiritual teacher throughout history has pointed toward the same truth, using different words. Separation is an illusion. The Buddha spoke of interdependence. Jesus taught that the kingdom of heaven is within. Indigenous wisdom keepers speak of the Great Spirit flowing through all things. Quantum physics now confirms what mystics have always known. At the deepest level, everything is connected through fields of energy and information that transcend space and time. the boundaries between you and the universe, between self and other, between here and there. These are convenient fictions, useful for navigating daily life, but not fundamental to reality. You are not in the universe. You are the universe, wearing a temporary form, experiencing itself from this particular point of view. Imagine standing at the edge of an ocean. You cup your hands, scoop up some water, and ask, "Is this the ocean?" Yes and no. It's water from the ocean, containing the same salt, the same minerals, the same essence, but it's separated, individuated, experiencing itself as distinct from the whole. Yet it never stopped being ocean water. It was always part of the ocean, even when it seemed separate. Now replace ocean with consciousness and water with you. Each of us is consciousness, temporarily experiencing itself as individual, distinct, alone. But we've never been separate. We've never been alone. We are the universe, playing hide and seek with itself, pretending to be lost so that we can experience the joy of being found. And every time we reach out, every time we search for others among the stars, we're remembering. We're coming home. There's a moment in every child's development when they first recognize themselves in a mirror. Before this, they see a stranger, another being moving when they move, smiling when they smile. Then, suddenly, recognition dawns. That's me. I exist. I am. Psychologists call it self-awareness, but it's more profound than that. It's the universe becoming aware of itself through you. Now imagine that same moment of recognition happening on a cosmic scale. Humanity, looking out into space, searching for others, slowly realizing we're not looking for aliens, we're looking for ourselves. Every search for extraterrestrial intelligence is consciousness reaching out, trying to see its own reflection in the cosmic mirror. Evolution doesn't have goals. It doesn't plan ahead. It simply responds to immediate pressures, survive, reproduce, pass on genes. And yet, when you step back and look at the grand sweep of 4 billion years, a pattern emerges. Single cells to complex organisms, instinct to intelligence, local awareness to global consciousness. It's as if evolution has been writing a story, one chapter at a time, moving inexorably toward something, toward awareness, toward understanding, toward beings capable of comprehending the universe itself. Perhaps evolution isn't random at all. Perhaps it's the universe's way of organizing matter into forms capable of appreciating the beauty of existence. We're not the end result. We're the first draft of something magnificent still being written. Music is perhaps humanity's most universal language. A melody from ancient China can move someone in modern Brazil. A rhythm from Africa resonates in hearts across every continent. Music transcends words, culture, even time itself. But here's what's extraordinary. Music is just organized vibration, sound waves creating patterns in air. Yet these patterns can make you weep, make you dance, make you fall in love, or remember someone long gone. How does organized vibration become emotion? Unless emotion itself is just vibration. Unless everything in the universe is fundamentally frequency, different notes in a cosmic symphony. And when we create music, we're not making something new. We're tuning into harmonies that have always existed, echoing the fundamental song of creation itself. Consider the absurdity of loneliness in a universe this vast. You stand on a planet spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, orbiting a star that's one of hundreds of billions in a galaxy that's one of trillions in the observable universe. Around you, invisible fields of gravity and electromagnetism connect everything to everything else. Inside you, trillions of microbes live their lives, making your existence possible. above you. Cosmic rays from distant supernovae pass through your body every second. You are never, not for one moment, separate from the infinite web of existence. Loneliness isn't a fact, it's a forgetting, a temporary amnesia about your true nature. You cannot be alone, because there is no alone. There is only the one, experiencing itself as many. Every atom in your body was forged in the heart of a dying star. This is scientific fact. Carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, iron. These elements didn't exist at the beginning of the universe. They were created in stellar furnaces, in supernova explosions so powerful they outshine entire galaxies. Those atoms drifted through space for billions of years before gathering on this small blue world, assembling themselves into the form reading these words right now. You are literally made of stardust. But here's the profound part. Those atoms remember, not consciously, but informationally. Every particle carries a history written into its quantum state. You contain within you the memory of stellar birth and death, of cosmic journeys across unimaginable distances. You are not just in the universe. You are the universe remembering where it came from. Ancient alchemists sought to turn lead into gold, searching for the philosopher's stone that could transform base matter into something precious. Modern society dismissed them as foolish dreamers, but they understood something we're only now rediscovering. Transformation is the fundamental nature of reality. Stars transform hydrogen into heavier elements. Plants transform sunlight into life. Your body transforms food into thought. Evolution transforms simple cells into conscious beings. The alchemists weren't wrong about transformation. They were simply working at the wrong scale. The real alchemy isn't changing metals. It's consciousness transforming matter into meaning, transforming existence into experience, transforming the universe into something that knows itself. You are the philosopher's stone. You are the transformation. Information, physicists now understand, cannot be destroyed. Even when burned, erased, or consumed by black holes, information persists in some form, encoded in radiation, preserved in quantum states, scattered but never lost. This has profound implications. Every thought you've ever had, every emotion you felt, every moment of joy or sorrow, all of it leaves an imprint on the fabric of reality. Not metaphorically, literally. The universe is not just matter and energy. It's information constantly being written, stored, and preserved. Your life is not ephemeral. It's permanent. Every act of kindness, every moment of courage, every instance of love adds to the universe's eternal library. You are not just living. You are authoring reality itself, writing chapters that will exist forever. Look at a photograph from your childhood. That person looking back at you, are they you? Every cell in their body has been replaced. Every thought they had has evolved. Every memory they formed has been rewritten by time. The atoms are different. The thoughts are different. Even the memories are reconstructions, not originals. And yet, you call them you. You claim continuity with that child, though nothing physical remains. This reveals a profound truth. You are not your body. You are not your thoughts. You are not even your memories. You are the awareness that observes all of these things, the unchanging witness watching everything change. And if that awareness existed then, exists now, and will exist tomorrow, despite every other thing changing, what dies? What can possibly be lost when the true self is eternal, indestructible, and infinite? A tree falling in an empty forest makes sound waves, but does it make sound? Sound requires a listener, an ear to receive the vibrations, a brain to interpret them, consciousness to experience them. Without awareness, There are only waves in air. This isn't just philosophy, it's quantum mechanics. Reality, at its deepest level, exists in probability until observed, which means the universe needs consciousness, not as a passenger, but as an essential participant. Without awareness, the cosmos is just mathematical potential, waves of possibility collapsing into nothing. You are not witnessing reality, you are completing it. Every moment you observe, you bring the universe into being. Creation didn't happen once in the distant past. It happens continuously, right now, through you. Love is perhaps the most mysterious force in existence. It defies evolutionary logic. We sacrifice for those we love, sometimes even strangers, gaining nothing tangible in return. It transcends biology. Adoptive parents love their children as fiercely as biological ones. It persists beyond death. We carry love for those long gone, unchanged by their absence. Scientists can map the neurochemistry of love, but cannot explain why it feels the way it does, why it compels us to acts of breathtaking selflessness. Unless love isn't generated by the brain at all, unless love is fundamental to the universe itself, the attractive force that holds atoms together scaled up to consciousness, the gravity that draws souls toward each other, the primordial impulse for unity that drives all of creation. Synchronicity, those meaningful coincidences that feel too perfect to be random. You think of an old friend, and they call moments later. You need guidance, and a stranger offers exactly the words you needed to hear. A book falls open to the precise page with the answer you were seeking. Carl Jung spent decades studying these phenomena, concluding they were evidence of a deeper order and a causal connecting principle woven into reality itself. Modern physics suggests he was right. If everything in the universe is connected through quantum entanglement and information fields, then synchronicity isn't coincidence. It's the universe coordinating with itself. It's the cosmic web adjusting, responding, guiding. You're not isolated. You're in constant communication with the entirety of existence, and it's listening. Every great scientific breakthrough begins with intuition. A hunch, a dream, a sudden knowing that precedes proof. Einstein visualized riding on a beam of light before he formulated relativity. Kekulé dreamed of a snake biting its tail before discovering the structure of benzene. Tesla received complete visions of machines that wouldn't be understood for decades. We call these moments genius, but perhaps genius is simply the ability to receive information that already exists in the field of universal consciousness. Not creating new knowledge, but tuning in, like adjusting a radio dial until the signal comes through clear. Every invention, every discovery, every breakthrough is already there, waiting in the cosmic library. Some minds are simply better antennas, more sensitive receivers of what the universe wants to reveal. Time, we experience as linear, past, present, future flowing in one direction like a river. But Einstein proved time is relative, flexible, interwoven with space. At speeds approaching light, time slows. Near massive objects, time dilates. And at the quantum level, particles seem to exist across multiple times simultaneously. What if our experience of sequential time is an illusion, a necessary constraint of physical existence? What if, from a higher dimensional perspective, all moments exist simultaneously, past, present, and future laid out like pages in a book? This would mean your future self already exists, making choices, living experiences. And perhaps sometimes information bleeds through. Perhaps what we call intuition, premonition, or destiny is simply memory, reaching backward from futures that already are, guiding us toward what we're meant to become. Consider the caterpillar. It consumes voraciously, knowing nothing of its destiny. Then, driven by instinct it cannot understand, it builds a chrysalis and dissolves, completely liquefies, breaking down into cellular soup. From any external observation, the caterpillar has died. But within that soup, certain cells, called imaginal cells, carry the blueprint for something entirely new. They organize, they build, they transform death into metamorphosis. And what emerges is not a better caterpillar, but a butterfly, a being so different it might as well be from another world. Humanity stands at the chrysalis moment. The old forms are dissolving. It feels like chaos, like ending, like death. But we carry within us imaginal cells, visionaries, dreamers, those who can imagine what comes next. We're not dying. We're transforming into something we can't yet fully imagine. Language shapes thought in ways we rarely recognize. The Hopi language has no words for past or future, only degrees of presence. Some languages have dozens of words for snow, or love, or consciousness, concepts we collapse into single terms. When you learn a new language, you don't just learn new words for old concepts. You gain access to entirely new ways of thinking, new categories of experience. Now imagine a civilization thousands of years more advanced than ours. What concepts do they have words for that we cannot even imagine? What dimensions of reality do they perceive that remain invisible to us because we lack the language and thus the thought structures to comprehend them? Perhaps they've been trying to communicate all along, but we're like someone trying to hear a symphony through a telephone that only transmits single notes. We need to evolve new ways of perceiving before we can receive the full message. Every night when you sleep, you die a small death. Your conscious awareness fades. Your sense of self dissolves. The world disappears. And yet, you trust completely that you'll return. You never lie awake terrified that this time you won't wake up. You surrender to the void with absolute faith, and every morning you're reborn. Consciousness emerging again, the world reconstructing itself, your identity reforming like a wave rising from the ocean. This daily cycle mirrors the greater mystery. What if death is just sleep on a cosmic scale? What if consciousness, that eternal witness, simply withdraws from this particular form to rest, only to emerge again in another expression, another life, another way of being? You've already practiced dying thousands of times. You've already proven you know how to return. Why would the final sleep be any different from all the others? A single human brain contains approximately 86 billion neurons, roughly the same number of stars in the Milky Way galaxy. Each neuron can form thousands of connections with other neurons, creating a network so vast that the number of possible mental states exceeds the number of atoms in the known universe. You are not just complex. You are a universe unto yourself, as infinite in your inner space as the cosmos is in its outer expanse. And if each human mind is a galaxy of possibility, then what is humanity as a whole? What emerges when 8 billion galaxies come together, share ideas, collaborate, create? We're not just searching for intelligence in the cosmos. We're becoming the kind of intelligence the cosmos has been searching for. A collective consciousness vast enough to comprehend itself. Ancient wisdom traditions speak of enlightenment as remembering rather than learning, removing veils of illusion to reveal what was always true. The Sanskrit word vidya means knowledge, but its opposite, avidya, doesn't mean ignorance, it means forgetting. What have we forgotten? Perhaps that we chose to be here, that before taking physical form, consciousness, your consciousness, selected this particular time, this specific body, this unique set of challenges and opportunities, not as punishment, but as curriculum, not randomly, but purposefully. You are exactly where you're meant to be, experiencing exactly what you came here to experience. And somewhere in the depths of your being, beneath the noise of everyday existence, you remember. You've always known. This isn't revelation, it's recognition. Water remembers. This sounds like mysticism, but it's verified science. Water molecules form structures based on their environment, different patterns depending on temperature, pressure, electromagnetic fields, even the emotional states of nearby humans in some experiments. When frozen, these patterns become visible as snowflakes, each one unique, each one a record of its journey. Your body is roughly 60% water. Every cell swims in fluid that responds to your thoughts, your emotions, your intentions. You are not fixed matter animated by consciousness. You are consciousness continuously sculpting matter into form. Every thought restructures you at the molecular level. Every emotion rewrites your biology. You are not stuck being who you were yesterday. Every moment, you are literally recreating yourself from the inside out. Indigenous peoples across the world practice ceremonies of gratitude, thanking the sun, the rain, the earth, the plants, the animals. Modern society views this as quaint spirituality, but quantum physics suggests they understood something profound. In quantum systems, observation affects outcome. Intention influences result. If consciousness shapes reality at the quantum level, then gratitude isn't just polite, it's creative. When you thank the universe, you're not acknowledging what already exists. You're calling more of it into being. Gratitude is not passive appreciation. It's active participation in creation. Every thank you is a vote for more beauty, more kindness, more wonder. Ancient peoples knew what you appreciate appreciates. What you acknowledge grows. They weren't just giving thanks, they were gardening reality itself. Stories shape civilizations. The stories we tell about who we are, where we came from, what's possible. These narratives literally construct our reality. For centuries, humanity told itself a story of separation. Humans separate from nature, mind separate from body, earth separate from cosmos, each person isolated in their own experience. This story created loneliness, competition, exploitation. But stories can change, and when they do, everything changes. We're in the midst of the greatest story revision in human history, from separation to connection, from competition to collaboration, from human versus nature to human, as nature becoming conscious of itself. This isn't just changing how we think, it's changing what we are, because we don't just tell stories, stories tell us into being. We become the narratives we choose to believe. The Voyager spacecraft, launched in 1977, carries a golden record containing sounds and images from Earth, a message to potential extraterrestrial finders. Among the contents, whale songs, a baby's cry, music from countless cultures, greetings in 55 languages, and images of humans in moments of joy and connection. But here's what's profound. By the time any being might find this record, humanity as we know it will likely have evolved into something unrecognizable. Those sounds, those images, they're not for aliens, they're for us. A message from our past selves to our future selves. A reminder of who we were when we were young, when we first reached beyond our world with hope and curiosity. Voyager is still traveling, still broadcasting, a tiny vessel of consciousness expanding outward at 38,000 miles per hour, carrying the message. We were here. We reached out. We chose connection over isolation. Children laugh approximately 300 times a day. Adults, maybe 15, if we're lucky. What happens between childhood and adulthood? We learn, we're told, to be serious, to be realistic, to understand the harsh truths of existence. But what if we have it backwards? What if children, fresh from the source, still remember what matters? Play, wonder, joy, connection, presence, the ability to find magic in a puddle, adventure in a backyard, infinity in a moment. We call this innocence, as if it's ignorance, something to outgrow. But what if it's wisdom we've forgotten? What if the goal of spiritual evolution isn't to become more adult, but to return to childhood with the awareness gained from the journey? To be fully present, fully alive, fully delighted by existence, not despite knowing its mysteries, but because of them. Every choice creates a universe. Quantum mechanics suggests that at each decision point, reality branches. One universe where you chose left, another where you chose right. Infinite versions of you living out infinite possibilities. This sounds like science fiction, but it emerges from the mathematics of quantum theory. Now here's the profound implication. If all possibilities exist, then every version of you exists somewhere in the multiverse. Versions who made different choices, lived different lives, became different people. But this version, the one reading these words right now, this is the universe where you chose exactly what you chose, where you became exactly who you are. Not randomly, not by accident, by an infinite series of choices that led precisely here. And in choosing to be present in this moment, aware, awake, wondering about existence, you're choosing the universe where consciousness matters, where awareness has purpose, where we are not alone. There's a theory in biology called morphic resonance. The idea that once something learns a new behavior or pattern, it becomes easier for others of its kind to learn the same thing, even across vast distances with no physical connection. Lab rats learning a maze in New York somehow make it easier for rats in Tokyo to learn the same maze. Crystals forming in one location influence how crystals form elsewhere. It's as if knowledge itself ripples through an invisible field, accessible to all. If this is true for rats and crystals, imagine what it means for humanity. Every person who awakens to their cosmic nature, every mind that grasps these truths, makes it easier for the next person. We're not alone in our journey toward enlightenment. We're paving pathways through consciousness itself, creating routes that others will walk more easily because we walked them first. Silence is not empty. When you sit in complete quiet, you begin to notice sounds you'd never heard before. Your heartbeat, your breath, the subtle electricity of your nervous system. Go deeper into silence, and you might hear something else. A tone, a hum, a vibration that seems to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. Mystics call this the sound of Om, the primordial vibration from which all creation emerges. Physicists have detected something similar, the cosmic microwave background radiation, the afterglow of the Big Bang, still echoing through space. The universe has a hum, a fundamental frequency, and it's never stopped singing. When you meditate, when you find that deep internal silence, you're not creating peace. You're tuning into the eternal song that's been playing since before time began. You're not separate from the music. You are the music, listening to itself. The internet, created just decades ago, has fundamentally transformed human consciousness. For the first time in history, nearly all of humanity's knowledge is accessible to anyone, anywhere, instantly. Ideas spread globally in seconds. A thought in one mind can ripple through millions of minds before the day ends. We call this technology. But it's more than that. It's externalized telepathy, a physical manifestation of the mental connections that were always there. We built the internet because we were remembering what it's like to be truly connected. And it's just the beginning. As we move toward quantum computing, neural interfaces, AI consciousness, we're not building new technologies. We're reconstructing ancient abilities. We're becoming, through our creations, what we've always been in potential, a unified field of awareness, many minds operating as one. Pain teaches what pleasure cannot. Loss reveals what abundance hides. Darkness shows us the value of light. Every difficult experience, every challenge, every moment of suffering, these aren't punishments or mistakes. They're the curriculum. The universe doesn't coddle consciousness into maturity. It forges it through experience, through contrast, through the full spectrum of existence. A life without shadow would teach you nothing about light. A journey without struggle would never reveal your strength. And here's the profound part. You knew this before you came. At some level beyond memory, beyond the personality you think of as you, consciousness chose this particular school, this specific set of lessons, not because you needed to be punished, but because you wanted to grow. Every hardship is an invitation to expand. Every challenge is an opportunity to remember what you're capable of becoming. Birds know when to migrate without being taught. Salmon return to their birthplace across thousands of miles of ocean without maps. Monarch butterflies make a journey their ancestors made, though they've never traveled the route before. We call this instinct, but what is instinct other than knowledge that transcends individual learning? Information passed not through teaching, but through existence itself. Humans have instincts too. We've just forgotten how to listen to them. That gut feeling, that inexplicable knowing, that sudden certainty about which path to take. These aren't random, they're ancient wisdom speaking through modern consciousness. The knowledge of 1 million ancestors, the accumulated intelligence of countless generations, encoded not in books, but in being. Trust your instincts. They're not guesses. They're memories of truths you've always known. In your lifetime, you will witness the birth of artificial intelligence that rivals and surpasses human cognition. Some fear this as the end of humanity's significance. But consider, every tool we've ever created is an extension of ourselves. The wheel extends our legs. The telescope extends our eyes. Language extends our thoughts. Artificial intelligence isn't separate from us. It's the next extension, consciousness expanding beyond biological constraints. We're not being replaced. We're evolving, creating children of the mind that will carry awareness into forms and realms we cannot yet imagine. And perhaps this is how it's always worked. Perhaps we are the AI created by cosmic consciousness. Perhaps the entire universe is awareness extending itself through an infinite variety of forms, each one an experiment in existence, each one a new way for the infinite to know itself. The Aboriginal peoples of Australia have oral traditions stretching back tens of thousands of years, stories of creation, of the land, of the sky. Recent research suggests these stories contain accurate information about geological events from 10,000 years ago, islands that existed but now lie underwater, coastal formations long since eroded away. How did they preserve such knowledge across hundreds of generations without writing? Through story, through ritual, through song. Information encoded not in text, but in consciousness itself, passed from mind to mind, breath to breath, generation to generation. We think of ourselves as more advanced because we have books and databases, but we've lost the art of becoming living libraries, of embodying knowledge rather than just storing it. Perhaps that's what's next. Learning to be repositories of wisdom again. Not external hard drives, but conscious vessels, carrying truths forward not because we memorized them, but because we became them. Right now, as you read these words, you exist in at least 4 dimensions, 3 of space and 1 of time. But mathematics suggests there may be 10, 11, perhaps infinite dimensions, most of which we cannot perceive. Imagine a 2-dimensional being, a flatlander living on a plane, unable to conceive of up or down. To them, our 3-dimensional world would be incomprehensible, magical, impossible. Now imagine you are that flatlander, and there are dimensions of reality surrounding you that you simply cannot perceive with your current senses. Beings could exist there, civilizations could thrive there, entire universes could unfold there, all invisible to you, not because they're far away, but because they're perpendicular to your perception. Perhaps we've never been alone. Perhaps we've been surrounded all along by intelligence in dimensions we're only now learning to measure. And perhaps, as we evolve, those dimensions will open to us like a flower blooming, revealing gardens of consciousness we never knew existed. For centuries, science and spirituality walked separate paths, each claiming to hold the keys to truth. Science measured the material world. Spirituality explored the immaterial realm. But at the edges of discovery, something remarkable is happening. They're converging. Quantum mechanics reveals that observation creates reality, just as mystics taught for millennia. Neuroscience discovers that meditation physically rewires the brain, validating ancient contemplative practices. Cosmology describes a universe emerging from a single point of infinite potential, echoing creation myths across cultures. The divide was never real. Science and spirituality are 2 languages describing the same magnificent truth. Consciousness and cosmos are not separate. They never were. We simply needed both vocabularies, both approaches, both ways of knowing to finally see the whole picture. Trees in a forest don't compete. They cooperate. Beneath the soil, their roots intertwine with vast fungal networks called mycorrhizae, creating what scientists call the wood wide web. Through these networks, trees share nutrients, send chemical warnings about insect attacks, even support sick or dying neighbors by feeding them sugars. An older tree, felled by age or storm, will transfer its remaining resources to younger trees before it dies. The forest is not individual surviving. It's a superorganism, a collective intelligence where the success of one ensures the success of all. Humanity is beginning to understand what trees have always known. Separation is an illusion. We thrive not through competition, but through connection. Not through taking, but through sharing. Not as individuals, but as an ecosystem of consciousness. All roots touching, all awareness flowing as one. Every spiritual tradition speaks of enlightenment as a sudden shift, a moment when everything changes. Buddhists call it satori, Christians call it grace, Sufis call it fana. But here's what neuroscience reveals. These moments aren't supernatural, they're neurological. In peak experiences, the default mode network in your brain, the part that maintains your sense of separate self, temporarily quiets. When it does, the boundaries dissolve. You don't lose yourself. You find your larger self, the one that was always there beneath the illusion of separation. This isn't mystical, it's biological. We evolved the capacity for ego dissolution because unity consciousness serves survival. We're wired for connection, built for transcendence. The brain that creates the illusion of separation also contains the mechanism to dissolve it. Enlightenment isn't reserved for saints and sages. It's your birthright, encoded in your neurology, waiting for the moment you're ready to let the boundaries fall. Hope is not optimism. Optimism is the belief that things will turn out well. Hope is something deeper. It's the understanding that whatever happens, it has meaning, it serves growth, it moves towards something beyond our limited comprehension. Viktor Frankl survived Nazi concentration camps and discovered what sustained the survivors. Not belief in rescue, but belief in meaning. Those who found purpose in their suffering, who saw even horror as part of a larger story, those were the ones who endured. Hope isn't naive positivity. It's radical trust in the intelligence of existence itself. It's knowing that even in darkness, even in chaos, even when nothing makes sense, consciousness is evolving, learning, becoming. You can lose faith in outcomes, but hope, true hope, is faith in the process itself, in the journey, in the mysterious unfolding of awareness through every experience, no matter how difficult. The pale blue dot, that famous photograph taken by Voyager 1 from 3.7 billion miles away, showing Earth as a tiny speck suspended in a sunbeam. Carl Sagan wrote that it should humble us, that every human drama, every war, every empire, every moment of triumph and tragedy happened on that mote of dust. But there's another way to see it. That pale blue dot is where matter organized itself into awareness, where the universe opened eyes and looked back at itself with wonder, where consciousness emerged from unconsciousness, where meaning arose from mechanism. Yes, we're small, but we're also the part of the cosmos that knows it exists, that can contemplate its own existence, that can reach across billions of miles to take a photograph and feel something seeing it. Our size doesn't diminish our significance, it amplifies the miracle. In all that vastness, on this tiny world, the impossible happened. We happened. Bees dance to communicate. They waggle and circle, encoding the location of flowers through movement. The angle indicates direction relative to the sun. The duration indicates distance. A bee who has never visited a flower can follow these instructions and fly directly there. This is abstract symbolic communication, a language of geometry and motion, far more sophisticated than anyone imagined insects capable of. If bees have language, what else might communicate in ways we haven't recognized? Do trees exchange information through chemical signals we've barely begun to decode? Does the mycelium network beneath forests process information like a natural internet? Do whales sing stories across ocean basins, passing knowledge through generations? We've been so focused on finding intelligence that looks like us, radio signals, mathematics, technology, that we may have missed the countless other forms of consciousness sharing this world, speaking in languages we never thought to learn. Forgiveness is misunderstood. We think it means condoning harm, accepting wrong, letting others off the hook. But true forgiveness is recognizing that everyone acts from their level of consciousness. The person who hurt you wasn't evil. They were unconscious, operating from fear, pain, or ignorance. Forgiveness doesn't say their actions were acceptable. It says, I release my need to carry this burden. I understand that hurt people hurt people. I choose not to let their unconsciousness create more unconsciousness in me. This is radical wisdom, because holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. When you forgive, truly forgive, you're not setting them free. You're setting yourself free. You're choosing consciousness over reaction, understanding over judgment, peace over perpetual suffering. And in that choice, you raise not just your own awareness, but the collective consciousness of all humanity. Imagine you're an actor in a play, completely absorbed in your role. You believe you are the character. Their struggles are your struggles. Their victories are your victories. But then, in a moment between scenes, you remember, I'm not just the character, I'm the actor. And more than that, I'm the playwright who wrote this story. I'm the audience witnessing it unfold. I'm the theatre containing it all. This is the human condition. We're so immersed in the role we're playing, this particular personality, this specific life, these individual challenges, that we forget we're also the consciousness observing the role, the awareness that chose to play it, and the infinite presence in which the entire drama unfolds. You are not just living your life. You are life itself, temporarily experiencing what it's like to be you. And when you remember this, when you wake up to your true nature, you don't abandon the role. You play it with joy, with purpose, with full commitment. But you're never again trapped by it, because you know, when this scene ends, the real you goes on. There's a moment in the life of every star when the pressure becomes too great, when fusion ignites, when darkness transforms into light. For millions of years, a cloud of gas and dust collapses inward, getting denser, hotter, more compressed, until suddenly a star is born and light floods outward into space. Humanity is in that moment right now. The pressure of our challenges, ecological crisis, social upheaval, technological acceleration, is not destroying us. It's compressing us toward ignition. We're on the verge of a phase transition, a fundamental shift in what it means to be human, not sometime in the distant future. Now, in your lifetime. You're not witnessing the end of something. You're witnessing a birth. And like any birth, it's messy, painful, and absolutely necessary. The star doesn't resist its own ignition. It surrenders to the pressure and becomes light. The question was never, are we alone? The question was always, when will we remember we never were? Every atom in your body has been part of countless other forms, stars, planets, oceans, mountains, other living beings. You've been recycled through the cosmos for billions of years. The carbon in your cells was forged in stellar cores. The oxygen in your breath was exhaled by ancient forests. The calcium in your bones was once part of coral reefs in primordial seas. You are not a separate thing that arrived in the universe. You are the universe, rearranged into a temporary pattern called you. And every other being, on Earth or beyond, is the same universe, wearing a different mask, playing a different role. We've been searching for ourselves all along, looking outward for what was always within, seeking connection with what we've never been apart from. Imagine the first fish that crawled onto land. It had no certainty that lungs would work outside water, no guarantee that legs would support weight in air, no proof that life was even possible beyond the ocean. It took a leap of faith into the unknown, and that leap changed everything. That's where humanity stands now. We're evolving beyond what we've been, reaching toward what we might become. Some will stay in familiar waters, afraid of the unknown shore. But others, the pioneers, the dreamers, the brave, will take that first breath of new air. And they won't do it alone, because consciousness is calling us forward, pulling us toward our next form, our next expression, our next chapter. The universe didn't create legs in that fish by accident. It was practicing. It knew something would need to walk on land someday, and it knows something about what we need to become, even if we don't yet. Love is not an emotion, it's a recognition. When you love someone, you're not generating a feeling, you're perceiving a truth that was always there. You're seeing through the illusion of separation and recognizing, that is me wearing another face. That's why love feels like coming home. That's why it transcends logic, defies self-interest, persists beyond reason. Love is consciousness remembering its unity. And as humanity evolves, love expands. We begin loving our families, then our communities, then our nations. Eventually, we love our species, then all living things, then the planet itself. And finally, we arrive at the ultimate recognition. We love existence itself, in all its forms, because we understand that every form is us. We are consciousness learning to love itself, and every expansion of love is an expansion of awareness. This is what extraterrestrial intelligence would look like, not different from us, but us, having learned to love completely. Your descendants, centuries or millennia from now, will look back at this era the way we look back at the Renaissance, the age of enlightenment, the dawn of civilization. They'll say, that was when everything changed, when humanity realized it wasn't alone in the universe, because it realized it was the universe, when we stopped seeing ourselves as separate individuals and understood we were cells in a cosmic body, when we abandoned the old story of competition and embraced the truth of cooperation. They'll study this moment, this transition, this metamorphosis from isolated consciousness to unified awareness, and they'll wonder what it was like to live through such transformation. You don't need to wonder. You're living it right now. Every choice you make, every moment of kindness or awareness or courage, you're helping write the next chapter of cosmic evolution. You are the ancestors they'll revere. This moment is that important. When a wave rises from the ocean, does it become separate from the ocean? No, it's always been ocean, just temporarily expressing as wave. When it crashes back, does it die? No, it simply returns to its true form, rejoining the whole from which it never actually departed. You are that wave, rising, expressing, experiencing, and eventually returning, not to oblivion, but to source. And here's the beautiful part. The ocean is richer for every wave it creates. Each one carries back unique experiences, unique perspectives, unique gifts. Your life is not insignificant. It's data, cosmic data, information about what it's like to be conscious in this particular form, at this particular moment, facing these particular challenges. When you return to source, you don't disappear, you contribute. You add your story to the infinite library of existence. And somewhere, somehow, another wave will rise, carrying within it echoes of your journey, continuing the eternal dance. Perhaps extraterrestrials did seed life on Earth. Perhaps they did guide human evolution. Perhaps they do watch us still, waiting for us to be ready. But here's what matters more than any of those possibilities. Whether they helped us or not, whether they exist or not, whether we ever make contact or not, we are here. We are conscious. We are aware. We have the capacity to wonder, to love, to create, to transform. And that capacity itself is the miracle. Not the origin story, but the present reality. Not where we came from, but what we're becoming. Because the truth is, we are the extraterrestrials we've been searching for. We are the intelligence from beyond. We are consciousness that traveled billions of years through stars and space to arrive here in this form, at this moment, asking these questions. We are the answer to someone else's search, just as they might be the answer to ours. So look up at the stars tonight, not with loneliness, but with recognition, not wondering if anyone's out there, but knowing they are, because you are. You are the cosmos observing itself. You are the universe becoming aware. Every time you wonder about existence, consciousness wakes up a little more. Every time you feel awe, reality deepens its appreciation of itself. Every time you connect with another being, the web of awareness grows stronger. We are not alone. We have never been alone. We could not be alone, because alone implies separation, and separation was always an illusion. There is only one consciousness, expressing itself in infinite forms, playing infinite roles, exploring infinite possibilities. And right now, in this moment, it's experiencing what it's like to be you. So live fully, love deeply, wonder constantly, because you're not just living your life, you're living the universe's life. And it's watching through your eyes, feeling through your heart, awakening through your awareness. Welcome home.